What's the biggest legal loophole you've ever used to your advantage? I lived in the same rental house for 5 years. Always paid rent on time. Never caused problems. I genuinely thought I had a decent landlord. But when I finally gave notice to move out because I was buying a house, everything changed. In the UK, landlords are legally required to protect your security deposit within 30 days. They do this by placing it into a government-approved scheme, and they're supposed to send you login info so you can track it. That way, if there's ever a dispute over deductions, an independent party can help resolve it. On top of that, my landlord made me sign a new tenancy agreement every single year, which is unnecessary but not illegal. So after 5 years, I had 5 separate tenancy agreements with her. After I gave notice, she emailed me asking if I planned to hire a gardener to return the garden to its original manicured state. I found this confusing because my tenancy agreement specifically forbade me from trimming or cutting back shrubs and bushes. It was written like the landlord would maintain the garden herself, except she never touched it the entire 5 years I lived there. I pointed this out and asked for clarification. No response. Instead, her boyfriend emailed saying she was anxious about the garden and expected it to look like it did when I moved in. I replied again, quoting the tenancy agreement. He said she'd get back to me. She never did, so I just did my best. My boyfriend, who's a gardener, spent hours cleaning it up. We trimmed bushes, cleared out waste, and paid hundreds to have it hauled away, even though technically I wasn't required to. I moved out. Weeks passed. Still no word about my deposit. When I finally emailed her, she suddenly decided she wanted to deduct £400 from my deposit for garden repairs. I reminded her again that the agreement didn't allow me to do the work she now expected, but she just kept repeating the same line. The garden wasn't returned in its original state. I suggested we go through the independent dispute process, which is free and part of the deposit protection system, but that process had to be started by her, and she refused. Instead, she kept sending me emails trying to negotiate a fair amount. Here's where it gets shady. When I tried to log into the deposit scheme to dispute it myself, I found I couldn't. She had registered the deposit using the wrong email address, which made no sense. She'd emailed me dozens of times over the years. She definitely had my correct address. I later found out that some dodgy landlords do this on purpose. They register deposits with fake contact details to make it harder for tenants to trigger disputes. After weeks of back and forth with the deposit company, I finally got access to the account, and that's when I saw it. She hadn't protected my deposit until the day after I gave notice to move out, which means she'd broken the law. By law, if a landlord doesn't protect your deposit on time, they can't deduct a single penny, and they owe you compensation between 1 and 3 times the deposit, plus your full deposit back. I emailed her and explained all this. She responded with a tantrum of an email, but sent my full deposit back immediately. I should have been happy, right? But after all the stress, time wasted, and bad faith behavior, I decided to dig deeper. I went back through my old emails and tenancy documents and realized she'd never protected my deposit properly for any of the 5 agreements. 5 violations, 5 fines. Legally, that meant I could take her to court and claim over £6,500 in compensation. With help from a barrister friend, I sent her a letter before action, basically telling her to settle or I'll take her to court. She called it an admin error, claimed I was just after a windfall, then offered me £4,000. I declined. Eventually, she agreed to pay the full £6,500, but tried adding conditions, probably thinking I wouldn't be able to meet them. She was wrong. When the money landed in my account, I sent her a final message. I told her if she had simply apologized at any point, I would have dropped everything. But instead, she chose to lie, manipulate, and insult. She never replied. After years of dealing with landlords who treated tenants like trash, it felt damn good to end my renting days with a win and over $6,000 in the bank.